Did you? Did you hate it?
This is the thing
And
where
we're back.
And we're back. This is I didn't even
Good
change
morning,
the background.
guys.
I didn't even do anything. This is maybe I'll change a background while we're talking. Yeah, I don't know. Let's go. Sure, let's go back here. All right, here we go. Welcome everyone to the Heroes World Quarantine.
John, you're tripping me out,
podcast,
bro.
Part deux.
What?
We are here to do another review of Batman: The Long Halloween Part 1. This is part of a two-parter that will be dropping. One just dropped on June 22nd, and part 2 will drop in a month's time, to Rob's dismay / terror. Not to give you an idea of what Rob's feelings of this cartoon movie, but we're going to do a review of that briefly because it's based on a property that people very much love, written by Jeff Loeb back in the day.
Arguably one of the Batman classics of all time.
It is the pinnacle of potentially Batman storylines. It was Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb.
Yep.
That was the dynamic duo themselves. I think it was back.
They released a lot of classics. Yeah,
they released this back in I don't even know when they released
1997.
98, right?
98, yeah.
13 issues. So it started 97 and finished at 98, probably, right? I guess.
Hey, Andre and I, there you go.
So both of you are right. So it started in 97, finished 98, 13 episodes, big deal. So we're going to talk about that. I'm your host, Stu Pei. With me, as always, the owners and proprietors of Heroes World. That's John and Andre. Say hello.
Hello, folks.
What's up?
And, of course, with our resident Prince of Mischief, variant 199993.
Yeah, the Loki that is an immense Tool fan. That is the variant of Loki that Rob is.
Well, if you watch the other review, this is another variant of that one, just a slowly bit off. The hat is backwards. Oh, there we go. Variant, it's just a teeny bit off.
Quick, grow on the goatee. Grow on the goatee.
And now I look like Chad from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Me to start drumming. Right.
Awesome. So here we go. I'm gonna make John do this time. Give us your helpful but yet very unhelpful kind of summary of this episode with this movie without a positive or negative attitude.
I don't know if I can summarize that. So basically, this is Batman in his early years. Something's going down. A character called or some type of mystery going on. The Holiday Killer, and someone is going around killing. I think they're mostly bad guys on every holiday. So this is the mystery of Batman trying to solve that, and you get all kinds of other characters thrown in the mix, Joker and Solomon Grundy and all kinds of Catwoman's in the mix, all kinds of stuff like that. And it is based off the, I believe, 12 or 13 issue story arc from DC Comics published back in the day. So it is a Batman classic, part 1, and I don't know when part 2 is going to drop
next month.
So, yeah. Oh, okay. So they're pretty close together.
Soon. Yep. It's gonna be very soon. Okay. All right. John.
Yeah, Harvey Dent is a big part of it too, I guess. Harvey Dent is a big part.
All right, John, give us your thoughts. What do you think of this so far? It was give us the rundown.
Yeah. First off, rest in peace to Naya Riviera. Passed away, tragic accident. So she does the voice for Catwoman. So shout outs to her. The entire voice, I think Jensen Ackles is Batman.
Yes, he is. You better believe it.
Growly, very growly Batman. He was Red Hood in one of my favorite DC animated series. So it was a little weird at first to hear him in the Batman role. But I'll try and do this quickly. My overall thoughts of it is it's an excellent introduction to this particular story. Maybe some people think that the trade paperback or the collection of this book is maybe a little too thick to dive into. So it will give them a good taste of that. And then I believe it's been a while since I read it though, but I do believe the way that the comic is set up flows a bit better for me. And maybe it's just because it's the original source material. But man, DC has come a long way with their animation. They're able to, I don't know if pump these out is the right word, but they're able to produce these. It seems a lot faster now. And the quality is really good. Like the animation looks really good. I miss a little bit of the style infusion that you get with a traditional comic book or some of the other animated series where you would have a different type of animation. It feels like a lot of the animation we did, Justice Society, was that the other one we did?
Yep.
I feel like it's basically all the same animation now with some slight
and art style.
Yeah, I think they do. To your point, John, as you put it very well, is that when they're doing arcs of storylines, the animation stays consistent. So that Red Hood animation of Batman and everything always looked the same. and when they switched to a new Batman, they changed the look completely.
Yeah.
So
they would play around, but it seems like they're resting more on this kind of safe style that's going to appeal to a wider audience. So I think that's great. I did crave a little bit more, but I think this is great for people that either don't normally read the comic books or heard about Long Halloween and maybe flipped through it and maybe it didn't catch their eye or they weren't feeling it. But it's going to be a good way for them to hear, like, experience this Batman story from back in the day. And this is one of those eras of Batman that is very readable for new people. Batman Year One, this. I do propose a Batman rewatch of Mask of the Phantasm, but it's all early year Batman stuff, so it's very easy for new fans to digest. But yeah, other than that, I couldn't think of anything that particularly stuck out in my head about it.
So the voice acting didn't stick out. Like, you didn't like Harvey Dent? Like, I thought Harvey, like, you know,
he's somebody. Josh Duhamel, right?
Good.
Yeah, Josh Duhamel. Yeah. Like the voice talent is good. Like definitely a way higher than we would have got back in the day. You actually have celebrities and voices that you recognize, right?
92, you know, that the OG Batman series had great character actors.
Oh yeah, dedicated voice actors, and then you kind of reach a period where, not that they were getting phoned in, but everything was almost like a Japanese anime dub. You had just people who weren't quite there. So it's nice to hear these celebrity voices and kind of you can picture them in your head a little bit. But yeah, no one really, like Jensen Ackles as Batman. It's okay. It's okay. I preferred him as the Red Hood, and he sounds exactly like Dean Winchester doing a Batman voice. So I don't know. I didn't watch Supernatural as much as you guys, so I don't know if that was a problem for you guys.
We'll leave that to Andre. Andre's going to go into that momentarily, but don't you worry. Andre will touch on that point.
Yeah.
So out of that, I guess on your review, I guess I skip all the other stuff, but that's fine.
Yeah,
because you didn't really spoil anything. But out of your thoughts, what do you give this out of 10?
I think it's a good, like maybe like a 7 out of 10. I still would go back and probably read the comic book over this, but like I said, this is great for new people or casual fans, or maybe if you're a hardcore, like we've stated in many of these that I'm not a hardcore animation guy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Rob, what do you give this out of 10?
4.
Ooh.
Andre, what do you give this out of 10?
I would probably say about a 6 out of 10.
Got it. Okay. All right. So Rob, give us your thoughts.
Fucking hated it. No, you know what? I don't know if I wasn't in the mood. I watched this yesterday. I found like it took forever. I found it was slow. It was the same, you know. I'm glad you brought up the animation style, because at the beginning, you know, when you see the skyline, you're like, oh, it's got a very, you know, Batman, you know, the animated series style of Gotham, right? With that Art Deco-ish. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I like this, right? And then, you know, you start to see the characters. You're like, oh, we're back to how they were with the JSA, which at the time I said to you reminded me of Archer. Right? I was like, oh,
yeah, very heavy black outlines.
I just want to watch Archer. You know, the Jensen Ackles as Batman, I think they used a bit of a voice modulator on him to lower his baritone, because there's no way he can do that voice naturally. Troy Baker, I'm a big fan of Troy Baker's work, but I feel like and he's been, you know, the voice of 1,000 people in video games, movies, and whatnot. He's just doing a version of Mark Hamill's Joker, because that Joker, Mark Hamill, is obviously the definition of the defined version of Joker that everybody now hears. I guess maybe in our generation, when you're reading a comic, regardless of who wrote it, whether it's The Three Jokers by Jeff Johns or whatever, you're likely, even subconsciously, reverting it to a Mark Hamill's version of the Joker, his voice, which is a testament to Mark Hamill. And it's an uphill battle for everybody else. It's kind of like that stupid Transformers show we've been reviewing on Netflix, which I know that we're going to have to do the next one when it comes out in July. But the guy who does the voice of Optimus Prime is not Peter Cullen. He's doing an impression of Peter Cullen. And so I felt like this was Troy Baker doing an impression of Mark Hamill, and Mark Hamill doing the Joker. And I was just like, well, I don't know. I mean, it's fine, but I'd rather just have Mark Hamill then, like, or do something different, then make it different, you know? if you look at the Batman, the Dark Knight Returns movie that came out, like the animated versions. I mean, Peter Weller was Batman, and it was like, that's kind of a weird choice, but that's fine. And the guy from Lost, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, who played Ben, he did the Joker, and it was a very different Joker, but that's fine because I'm okay with those different interpretations. I just felt like having a carbon copy of a carbon copy it seems nonsensical. It just doesn't. What's the point? But yeah, I found that overall, this was just a really slow plotting movie.
You love old plotting movies. That's our jam, Rob. We're gonna watch Dinner with Andre, and that's a slow, just two people sitting in a restaurant talking. This is a jam, man.
No, man. No.
Are you too Fortnite now that the kids have pushed you and you need some action and stuff?
No, listen. I like. No, shut up.
Now you're gonna say Blade Runner's overrated. Oh my god, you're gonna break my heart. Because Blade Runner's just as slow, except for it's Harrison Ford mumbling his way through the situation.
Blade Runner is overrated.
Oh no!
I don't know if Stu knew that or not. That Rob had those thoughts on Blade Runner.
Well, now I know. Clearly. Wow.
But I just found that this. It's funny. I was glad that John brought up and then irritated because I wanted to bring up, like, I would rather spend my time watching Mask of the Phantasm than watching this again. I have gone online to see other people's reviews, and I know Rotten Tomatoes is like 100%, but there's only been 13 reviews, so I don't whatever.
Yeah.
People seem to really enjoy this, so I don't know. Maybe I was just I was focused on other things that were happening. I'm under we have a lot of things happening around here at Casa del Gadet. So maybe my focus has just been elsewhere in the last few weeks. And so maybe I just wasn't in the mood to.
I think animation, you really have to be in the mood to watch it. Unless you are if you watch every single one of these that comes out and you are into like anime and those types of things, I feel like if you're not into those genres, you have to kind of get into it. Like when I first fired it up, I was like, I don't know, I'm not feeling it. So I kind of had to come back to it.
Yeah. So maybe that's just, that's just for me. I just wasn't feeling it this time. And
Can I interject for a second though? Do you think it was too slow for you, Rob? It wasn't enough action because you were loving Invincible. So I don't think it's a
oh well, no,
I don't know if he was loving Invincible.
No, yeah, I don't know. Love is a big word to say about Invincible.
Well, not loving, but
I think you tolerated Invincible.
Well, it sounded more positive than this, I guess.
Yeah, well, I always said that I thought that the first episode of Invincible was great, and then those last two, I thought that the middle areas were very slow and yeah, we're a bit of a
just
drag.
like Loki. So far.
Go watch that review, everybody. So yeah, listen, man, I don't like shitting on other people's stuff, right? Like, and that's I'm trying to. I don't want to.
It's like your trademark.
No, but these people have put a lot of time and effort into making this stuff. Yeah. And I don't want to shit on there. It just, for me, and I don't know, maybe John's right. Maybe it's a little bit of what John's saying, that I just wasn't in the mood to watch a cartoon movie. I don't know. I mean, I just watched Batman, the Dark Knight Returns for like the third or fourth time just a few weeks ago. I like some of those animated movies. This one, for whatever reason, just I found like, that silly one we did, the dragon one. Yep. That was a short. It was an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, and it was about the same.
but it felt like it moved, like it was different. I was like, okay, I was into it. This one, it just felt like it was. But you know what? I also had a problem with the Batman Year One. Animated movie as well. I found that one, like, I fell asleep 5 times watching that movie. I think I just gave up. So I don't know. I'm not really looking forward to part 2 on this one. I'm also, maybe it's better to watch it as a whole as opposed to for the 2 part. I don't know, but it just, for me, it wasn't. I wasn't feeling it. So sorry.
No, it don't need to apologize. And if you could barely get through one, then my God, I don't know how you could do the back to back with a break in between. But, Rob, don't worry. On July 27th, 2021, we'll get part 2. So you don't have to wait that long to slog this out. Andre, what are your thoughts?
Did you say 2022?
2021.
Oh.
So 1 month.
I'm away that day.
A month from now, you're going to get, we're going to get episode 2. We're all going to watch it and we're going to get your thoughts.
Now, if he didn't like it, like I've bowed out of these things. There's no, no point, right? Gotta give everybody a chance. I can't be the only one that gets to sidestep.
No, I think Rob is.
I suffer from my art.
100%. He is going to be just like Paul Benetti and one of the where he just hits himself with the pain
That's right.
whip. just penance. He's just gonna
That's
Rob's gonna do. Oh yeah, you're right. Rob can bow out, but I have a feeling he's not. I think he's gonna slog through it. But yes, the offer always stands, Rob. If you want to just leave, you can.
We have offered to him many times, yet here he is with a copy of Spawn. Star Michael J. White from 90 whatever in his collection.
Smoke bomb
now.
and then leaves.
A purchased copy of Spawn.
A full out purchase. Yeah.
This isn't Howard the Duck quality, so we'll see. Andre, what are your thoughts?
So a couple of things. I think as we mentioned, this is a classic, and I'm gonna put out there. This is a masterpiece comic book. This is a comic book that if you're a Batman fan, you have to read it at some point, or you've probably already read it and hopefully own it.
Yeah.
It is one of many great teams of writers and artists that I'd like to dub as chocolate and peanut butter. They just go so well together. Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, like countless stories, and this story is right up there with I would say arguably the best tale they told. Bookended with Dark Victory. So on the animation front, I was a little I didn't really want to watch it because I really love the original. And I will say that even though I knew what the art style was for the last 3 of the DC movies, I was hoping that they would go back to their I was hoping they'd go back to their methodology of previous, where they adapt what the original material looked like and put a stylized version of that on the screen. And they did not. This is a very it's a clean animation style, and it looks good, and the art style is decent, but it's not The Long Halloween. It doesn't have any of Tim Sale's like super original
flair,
stylized art, except for at the beginning when they're doing the intro and you can see it. And well, let me say this. So what did I enjoy about this? I enjoyed the voice acting. I know Rob didn't like it, but I was very shocked that Troy Baker, I thought I was listening to a Mark Hamill. I'm like, they didn't say his name in the credits. And then I watched the end credits. I'm like, oh, wow, Troy Baker. I know him from a lot of video games. Wow, he did a good job of that Joker. Jensen Ackles, great. I thought he did a great Batman. Like I thought he was really good. I don't think they edited his voice, Rob, because when he was Bruce Wayne, I caught a little bit of Jensen Ackles right at the beginning, but after that, I'm like, no, he's actually not Jensen Ackles. Winchester. I didn't get that. And I'm like, I like it. I thought the voice acting and the art style of the Falcone family, I thought again those things were very good. So I like what John said. I think this might be a good primer / introduction to the story. So if you kind of like where the story is and where it's going and what you saw, then, and you haven't read Long Halloween, then I would say, hey, go out now and buy Long Halloween and read that before finishing number 2. It's such a beautiful book, and it's got so much atmosphere and feeling, and it's all gone in the animation. Like it's not there, right? And it's very, very sad because like I said, I gush over this, but also too, whoever adapted it, writing it, I don't know if this person actually read this thing, because there were so many changes into it. And I'm like, why are you doing this? This is full spoilers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so unfortunately there might be a little bit of spoilers for
it is now
for the for the part 2.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about this story, and they get a little bit on it, is that this is the first time where you've got the triumvirate of Gordon, Dent, and Batman working together, and they create this uneasy alliance to kind of clean up Gotham and stuff like that. And this is a very Batman year one story. Like, this is still, I'm fisticuff Batman. If my fist can't solve the problem, then I haven't. And even he does mention it, right? But you don't get the sense that he's really, really out of his element during this. Whereas in the comic, you get this sense of he's behind the killer. He's like, what the hell's going on? He's beaten. He's out of his element. And each comic, when it was coming out, obviously they were monthly, but each part was named after the holiday. Like, the first part is Halloween, next part Thanksgiving, third part is Christmas, fourth part is New Year's, and so on. And so you did, in these comics, get the sense that time had passed, even though it's only a month. But in
this movie, it doesn't feel like time is going.
Like, literally,
it's
you're like, oh, it's Thanksgiving, it's Halloween, and then his house blows up, and he's like, do you want to watch a movie? I'm like, you were gone for freaking like 39 days, or not 39 days, or however long Halloween is to Thanksgiving. Like, they didn't do those things. They didn't make it enough of a kind of
no
like
transition.
Transition. And then they really inserted the Gilda and Dent problems right at the beginning. We didn't get those, and it's very different in the comic book, and that very, very much throws me off, because it basically, I think, spoils the greatness of reading that. Like, reading that series when it first came out, it's a mystery, and you're reading it month to month for all the people who read it. But even if you've never read it and you're reading it, man, like, when it gets to the dun 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 who done it moment, you're like, holy shit, right? And I think this is already like laying it out, and it's skirted on stuff. Like, they had that whole really cool fight scene with Batman fighting the I guess I don't want to call them triads, but whatever, the Chinese fighters in Chinatown.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's not in I'm like, I don't remember this. And then I grab my copy of the book, and I'm like, in the book, he fights Solomon Grundy, and it's awesome. And it's not long. And I'm like, why even put Solomon Grundy in this cartoon if you're not going to have that little punchline or that little fight, just so you show him giving him a piece of Thanksgiving dinner? Again, the person who wrote this, who adapted it, it's all wrong. He's missing stuff. Like, they insinuate that Selena Kyle is going to Wayne Manor. There's all this stuff, and it's disjointed, and it's put in the wrong order, and it's not focused on. So while the voice acting was good and stuff like that, and it's such a great story, this adaptation is, I think it's doing a disservice. So if you guys are, if you like this at all, which I hope you do, please read the book. The book is just immensely better. Like, we didn't even get any, I guess it'll be part 2, but the Poison Ivy in this one, holy smokes. Like I said, this is a masterpiece, and I'm shocked. I don't know all the back end, maybe Stu knows, but I don't know why Jeff Loeb wasn't consulted on this or brought on
do you want to know Tim Sheridan what else he wrote, and give you some scary info about Tim Sheridan, who adapted and wrote this series? I should have read this beforehand. He, of course, was involved in Transformers War of Cybertron trilogy. He wrote 3 episodes of that.
There you go.
Does anyone actually write those? I feel like people don't actually write those.
He wrote that
episode. They probably just put their names on it.
He also is a writer, and he's been also been credited as 7 episodes of Masters of the Universe Revelation. So get rid of that. Get ready for that one. He has written.
Wait,
DC.
Hold on. He's did 7 episodes of that.
Yep.
Of the new one coming out.
He's credited as, out of 10 episodes, I think he's the writer of 7.
No, because we've been listening to the Kevin Smith podcast.
Oh.
There's a whole bunch of writers that have done those episodes. So maybe he helped as a writer's room. They crafted the arc, but then they divided up into individual writers to do.
Hope to God,
he is credited as out of 7 episodes.
Well, maybe he's not good at adapting or condensing a comic, or
because Kevin Smith is only indicated for 7 episodes
content
himself. So I think for Writers Guild of America rules, you have to put someone at it. And even though, happened with Matt Weiner all the time for Mad Men, like someone would write it and then he'd punch up a bit, but he'd also be awarded an Emmy because he also wrote an episode of the show, even though Rob Cadet wrote the entire thing. He just stamped his name on it and he's like, oh, well, Rob, when you win that Emmy, I guess I'll go up with you. So this may be the situation.
At the podium.
Where there are very particular rules when it comes to writers' credits in Hollywood because it's a union environment. So maybe he just, he wrote the major outline, like 80% of it, and then people filled in the gaps. But because he wrote the most of it, they're like, yeah, we're going to credit you. He's written some episodes of DC Superhero Girls. He's written some episodes of Justice League Action. Really, not that, like 4 or 5 episodes of a bunch of little TV shows. Lego DC Superhero Girls.
But who
knows what's involved in adapting a comic book?
Right. Hey, I just wanted to address Andre's comment about why didn't the animation style not being like, he's right. The Long Halloween book, the art of Tim Sale is a very unique art style, and it's haunting. Right? It's very like not that he's a kin of Tim Burton, but when you see something, if you see Tim Burton's original artwork and his storyboards for his movies, it's very haunting and creepy. Tim Sale's got a very haunting look to his art. I wonder if they actually tried in pre-production to see if they could make it to animate it, and I don't know if they were able to do it successfully. I think the only person they've really been able to do, Darwin Cook, Final Frontier, they kind of took his art style and they were able to adapt it, but his was a very Fleischer-esque art style anyways, so that was somewhat easily adaptable. So I wonder,
well, they were able to capture the feeling of the Frank Miller's, right, with The Dark Knight. I think you know what, I think John hit it on the they have found an animation style that's going to appeal to people and is probably pretty quick to do. And I think that's okay for what they want to do, but I think it's just a travesty. 100% they could animate something like this, but it would have just cost them time and money. Like, you look at Japanese
I think the budget doesn't exist,
every gamut
and its
of
purpose
animation
isn't for
so
that.
it could have been done and it probably would have been stylistically amazing. However, it just would have taken them like a lot of time, and maybe they felt that this was a story they wanted to put out right now. But let me just go back a little bit. One of the moments that I absolutely just hated in this episode, or this thing, was on the boat when Batman he's like, oh my god, it's the son of Falcone, and Catwoman just dumped him. Again, they weren't even dating. And then Catwoman's like, Bruce? I'm like, okay, when did she figure out that he's Batman? And then he's like, oh, you're Bruce Wayne? Because there's only ever one goddamn Bruce in Gotham. And then his identity's known, all that. And then the shooter comes and shoots him. And then there's this chase on the boat. Again, when you read that in the comic, it's so different. Batman wasn't even there. Like, he's so behind the 8 ball. And that guy, it did happen on a boat, but he was just, plug, fell off the boat, and that's it. And they find it. And that's what, like, again, I'm like, why do they insist on changing these moments like that?
I think you got to have Batman on screen. I think it's just the form of media. You got to have Batman on.
The scene right after, Joker is tied up Falcone. You don't have Batman. Anyways, that scene just really bothered me, because I think it just throws the whole story thing out. But the scene I think they got right was the scene where they go to Arkham and meet Calendar Man. Yeah, I thought that, I'm like, okay, that, because he looked like he looked in the comic, and the dialogue is very similar. So sometimes they get these moments right, but I would say, like, on a whole for this one, it didn't do it for me.
Yeah, it's it has moments.
Yeah,
again,
Stu, you're the animation guy, so like.
yeah, it's no spoil. I love animation. I love animation movies. I love anime. I love that. I grew up watching it, so I have a soft spot. It's for me. I was hoping this would be a nice way to indoctor people to watch, to get into a Batman film. I think the property Long Halloween is one of, like, again, we talked about it, one of the best comics. 13 issues, like it's the gold standards. Nolan, if you watch this, you're like, oh, didn't Batman and the Nolan, like, he did kind of lift some moments of and some feelings of the moment when the three of them met on the rooftop, the giant warehouse with money, like all these different things, like you can be like, oh, and the spoilers that even some of the stuff going on with Harvey, and no surprise is going to lead to some stuff. But it is very much
the whole Batman, Harvey, and Gordon dynamic. Yeah, that is very Dark Knight Rises.
It is 100% like,
or not Dark Knight Rises, Dark Knight Returns. Or what was the Heath Ledger one? What's the second one? Dark Knight. Batman the Dark Knight. Yeah.
Dark Knight. Yeah, it's Dark Knight.
Yeah.
So it is a lot of hits and misses. But yeah, again, to Andre's point, this is animation. You could put dates on this thing. You could do.
Yeah, they could have slid it. I felt like there was no there was no passage of time.
Even when you watch like all the Avengers and Marvel stuff, like people would say, well, why are you like putting the giant, like Loki's like Lamentus 2077? Like, can you just put something there, like Christmas or Halloween, or make it snow?
Yeah. I think the scene that Andre's talking about, the house blows up and then Batman's chasing someone in a car, and you're like, is this happening? I'm like, oh, Batman's getting to the scene of the explosion. I'm like, no, it's a completely different scene and a completely different time in the animation. It's weird. Like, how is that hard to animate? A slide in like calendar?
Again, maybe this is not the writer's issue. Again, maybe this is the director issue, because the director, Chris Palmer, who directed this, and you're thinking, hey, maybe there is, maybe it's his thing. Like, he directed 16 episodes of Voltron. He did Superman.
Do they reveal budgets for these animated projects?
I don't know.
I don't think so. Like, right? I don't think they make it publicly.
This guy who did this movie, like, he's a tremendous artist, because he did storyboarding and artist for Young Justice, Spider-Man Unlimited, Legend of Korra.
No, they're definitely using some type of software.
The talent is there
to engineer this style of animation, because you can tell it's
everyone uses software
clean.
now. No one does it by hand anymore.
That's why. So you're not going to get that same style. There's no way they can mimic a style of,
because no one does it by hand anymore.
of a Tim Still, because the proportions and stuff probably cannot be thrown into a computer and go, if his arm bends like this, it looks like this.
I think, John, you forget that if you go to Mike's account, Deadly Mike, shout out, and you watch him, he does videos of him drawing the art. It's all digital now. You don't do anything about
No, but they're whatever I think they're rendering a certain point of like the actual movement, like the fighting, I think is it's not like they're drawing every frame of that fight. They probably have. Yeah, it's almost like a video game now.
It's like video game.
Yeah. So you could not take Mike's amazing artwork and throw it into some type of computer, and it cannot extrapolate where this hand would move and stuff like that. So you cannot get his style in animation form without him drawing every frame.
I think if you guys remember, and this is going to go the way back time machine here. South Park. When South Park first came out, they were physically cutting out and they were doing the stuff to make it animated. And about after 5 seasons or so, three to 5 seasons, they had enough information to be able to animate it through the computer to make it much easier. So they weren't doing it drawing and making the animation. And it's interesting that John brought that up, because there's a few times where you see some of the characters' arms would move, their bodies would be in this movie, their bodies would be static and their arms moved. And it reminded me of the animated TV shows of the 60s, the old Thor and Captain America stuff, where it would just be the arm would move and like the mouth would go blah, 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 like that. And I was like, wait,
certain parts are moving, because I think a lot of this, we'd have to get someone who's an animator or something. This is just my guess. I have no idea. No disrespect to people's work if they are actually drawing every frame of that out. But
no, you're disrespecting them.
Yeah, I think the idea is it's very video gamey that they can.
But I think, as Andre mentioned before, a lot of it's cost prohibitive. Like, you can make Mike's style, it just takes forever and it costs a lot of money. That's like a 3-year, like a Pixar movie. It takes 3 years or 5 years because it takes that long to do it correct perfectly and to do it. Like your quota, if you're doing animation in a movie, is like 4 seconds a week. You spend all your time to do 4 seconds in 1 week.
Yeah,
so
like again, I feel like this is some type of technology, like that Pacific Rim animation they did, and the Altered Carbon, which looks essentially like a video game
100%
cinematic. I feel like there's some type of program or
it's
whatever that is doing this for them.
It's the animation studio that did, now that the standard is the guys that do Castlevania / the Greek show that we watched before. I forget the name of on Netflix.
I forgot.
Death of Hellas or something. I forget them. I'm forgetting it. But yeah, these are all the same animation houses that are doing it. And that's the style, and there's a cost associated with it.
Yeah, that's why I'm curious of the budget. If this is just being produced for digital content, for the DC subscription, for you to have access to every single comic story that existed that you can click on and check it out, that's what it is,
Yeah. So, okay. I've got to figure out what that Castlevania show thing.
I want to say it was called Ares or something, or War of something.
Something.
Or something Greek, something like Greek god type of something, like War of the Gods or something like that.
Yeah, I got it.
War of Mediocrity.
It's I think it's called Federator. Oh man, what shows do they do? Okay, we're gonna jump through it, because man, I'm not gonna be able to find it, and I'm going through it. Okay. My quick recommendation is that it's worth your time if you have it. Why not? But I wouldn't drop everything to watch this animation.
Yeah, if you're an animation fan, I think it's on par with what they're doing. If you like reading comics, then 100% get the comic, because it's I guess it's like almost like reading the original book. Like if you like Jack Reacher books and then you watch the Tom Cruise movie, sure is okay, but the book is actually better.
Yeah.
Yes. The only thing I would recommend though is I'm just checking to see if it's for rent.
It dropped on digital on the 22nd.
Yeah, it's only to buy $20. Honestly, my recommendation is wait for the 2-part, because it'll come out and it'll be like the same price. Just wait for the combo pack, unless you're that much of a hardcore fan that you want to have it now. I would just wait just to get it. Just economically, you can get both for the same price when they both come out.
Yeah, it's probably going to be free on one of the streaming platforms.
Yeah,
like,
free part of your subscription.
Part of your subscription, yes.
Do you think they're doing this part 1, part 2 to mimic like a comic style? Like Andre, I don't know if you feel like that. Maybe that's why they do part 1, part 2 instead of just doing like, here's Long Halloween the movie. Like
I think, right? To be honest with you, I think it would have been too long, because there's no way they're going to release a 3-hour cartoon, and they've already cut out so much. So I think this is probably one of the only ways to do something like this. However, there was other stories that I didn't think they needed to break into part.
Yeah, like I think year 1 is part 1 and part 2,
part
right?
1 and part 2. The Dark Knight Returns is part 1, part 2. At least Long Halloween spans a year.
Yeah,
and stuff and whatnot. But I really think I think honestly this would have been a really interesting pitch room and writer's room or director's room to be in, because I don't know how they made the decisions of what they made. And it's such a beloved story. Like I know they have taken Hush and all these other ones and stuff, and they have condensed them and whatnot. But this is it's a plot where you're like, hey, there's a murder every month. Don't rush through it. Like how they're showing, like you got to show that each month is different. Show the leaves falling in fall. Show snowfall in.
For the comic release, Andre, it was 13 issues. Like, did they come out? I don't remember. Did they come out one a month?
One a month.
So this storyline went for a year. I think I didn't read it until it was collected. Yeah, and it is available in multiple formats. You can get a graphic novel. There's an absolute edition, and I think they've done multiple just hardcovers if you just wanted like a nice hardcover or something like that.
And I think Gotham the TV show did a storyline based.
Oh, did they do it? Oh,
yeah, they did.
Interesting.
So they did like a whole story arc on that TV show, which evolved around this whole thing. But no one watched Gotham, so it's fine.
Yeah, it says fourth season of Gotham adapted the elements of the long. Oh, so that's kind of interesting. I'm kind of interested to check that out if there's a
So
YouTube
maybe if you
summary
want
of that.
I did discover Powerhouse Animation Studios did Castlevania. They did Blood of Zeus, and they're doing
that is it. Blood of Zeus.
Masters of the Universe Revelations. So they're the same animation and looks to be kind of that Legend of Korra.
So I guess they like to work with this particular guy.
Yeah, it's a thing. So yeah, maybe that, like, to your point, it's cheaper to do this type of course it's cheaper to do, but this is the style that people like, that blend of North American / anime look. And
it's a safe look. It's a safe look. Like Andre said, yeah, the Tim Sale stuff is very stylized, and some I'll be honest, some people don't dig it, right? Some people like Superman for All Seasons, one of the greatest Superman stories of all time. Some people don't like chunky looking Superman. That's fine. That's why
and you can watch
the comic art expression form is there, right?
Exactly. Before we go and we wrap this down, because there's not much to say outside of that, Andre, John, and Rob, I'm going to throw this out to you. Is there another Batman book that you can recommend outside of Long Halloween that people can cleanse their palate with if they're unsatisfied watching this movie?
Or if you just want more Batman.
Black Mirror. For me, I love that mystery of Black Mirror, and it stars Stu's favorite Batman, Richard Grayson. So yeah, definitely Black Mirror.
John, you got anything?
Yeah, I'll actually. I was gonna say the new Batman Joker War, but I'm actually gonna piggyback off of Rob here and say it's Batman and Robin, which is more Dick Grayson as Nightwing.
Speaking to me
of taking him and Damian Wayne, kind of having like a really fun adventures, and I think we got all of these back in stock at the shop. So if you're dropping by the shop, and I'm sure Andre's got a wicked recommendation for you next.
Andre?
Oh, he's got it in his hand. Dark Victory.
Sequel. You're gonna read or watch Long Halloween, and you're gonna follow it up with Dark Victory, Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale again. First of all, you got to think, how do you follow up something that is so freaking good? Like just the challenge is there. And again, this does it. This is, if Long Halloween is Batman year 1 to year 2, this is year 2. We get the introduction of Batman getting Robin. You get to see Batman's rogues gallery growing. Amazing interpretations of Mr. Freeze, the Joker. There's more Catwoman in this. This, again, if you like Batman and don't have these, check it out. I would almost guarantee, I'm gonna give you the Andre guarantee that you're gonna like this. And if you can't, let's have a discussion and tell me why you didn't like it, because the story is phenomenal. The art, even if it's not your favorite Batman artist, okay, the transition, the art style, the like Rob talked about, haunting art style, this art has atmosphere and feeling, and you get that throughout. And it is a follow-up storyline. So yes, Long Halloween ends, but this is that set in that Gotham, and I can't say enough about this. If you can, and you really dig the art, you really like Tim Sale, highly recommend the absolute editions of these books, because it's larger and you get even more, and there's more behind the scenes. But again, if they're all way more expensive, but definitely please this, and like John said, we are ram-stocked back with almost every good Batman story, save a few that they were out of production, but they're on back order. We're getting more. But yeah, come on by the shop or hit us up in the comments here. Hey, I want recommendations on good DC, good Marvel books or whatever. We'll steer you.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite Batman graphic novel, so we can make sure we carry it?
Yeah. Yes. Put in the comments. Put in the comments. Let us know.
Yep. And if we agree, or chances are we probably already have most of them. Like, I'm sure I can easily say right now we have the top 10 rated Batman graphic novels, and then some. We also just got in the second part of the Black Mirror, which was the Snyder Dick Grayson one. I can't remember what it's called, but I'd even forgotten about that. We haven't had that in forever. I think it's called Batman Grail or something. I'd have to double check, and we'll put it up. But amazing stuff. So
nonetheless, I look forward to part 2 to see this out, and I look forward to more DC animation. I think I'm gonna at least John and myself will watch Mortal Kombat Legends Battle of the Realms.
You know what? I tried watching the first one. It's okay.
Oh my goodness!
I'll watch it. I'll watch it with you, Stu.
Oh god!
I'll watch it with you, Stu, because it's Mortal Kombat.
It's gonna be rough.
But I do propose a rewatch of Batman Mask of the Phantasm, so we can kind of get back to the classic of what we consider probably the best animated project.
We gotta wait till we finish 2 first, and so that can cleanse the palate. I don't want to do it beforehand. You gotta really watch the second one, part 2, and then we'll get to the other part afterwards. But yeah, shout outs to all the voice actors. Yeah, Jensen Ackles, I thought was great. Josh Duhamel. So
yeah, rest in peace to Naya Rivera.
She was actually, I really liked the way that her portrayal of Catwoman, and she was young enough that you could actually put her in the costume and she would have been able to do stuff. So unfortunately that didn't happen, but there's some stuff. And then the Man in Black that Rob doesn't care about, but Carmen Falcone, our boy, the Man in Black, Titus, was fantastic.
Titus Weller.
You know him from Bosch, whatever.
Season 7 just came out on Crave and Amazon Prime. It's the final season of Bosch. Definitely give it a go. I haven't seen it yet. I don't want to start it because I don't want the story to end. But that's final season is on.
The Man in Black for all those last fans. All right.
Do you like the show better than the book? Quickly, Rob. Do you like the show better than the book? Have you read the book?
I've never read any of the Bosch books.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
No. You should check that out.
He doesn't. He just wants to watch.
We should all get our
book club and read Bosch.
Audible books rolling, so we can send each other books.
I got time for that.
You do. You just put it in your ears while you're cleaning the pool. Smart guy.
Too busy listening to our past episodes.
It's kind of like watching, reading Jack Reacher and then seeing the movie, and you're like, Tom Cruise is too small.
No, he's not. He embodied Jack Reacher. People didn't.
Oh boy!
People
didn't.
Hey, you know what? John's coming out to the Durham region because I believe in August, Jack Reacher the TV series is being filmed out in my area. So I think John's going to be making
starring the guy Aquaman, aka Hawk from Titans, right?
Titans. Yes. Yeah. John said he's already booking a chance to come out this way because he wants to.
And John also wants to meet Kristen Crook. That's another thing he secretly wants to do, and she's also in the show. So
was she in? Oh, she cast
yeah. She signed on because it's also probably filmed in Toronto. John's just like, what? What?
I'm curious to hear the casting. Yeah, so
doesn't matter. Let's go.
Jack Reacher. What the Jack? Well, I'll stall. John, Andre, tell us where to find it. I stall and find out who she is.
If you know who she's casted at, I am very curious because one of the few series that I follow is Jack Reacher.
It's the female cop.
Is it Nagley?
Yes, because they're doing the killing floor. So
the killing floor. Oh, Roscoe. She's probably playing Roscoe. I thought someone else was.
All right, keep on talking, and then I'm going to tell you.
Okay. Anyways, yeah. So Heroes World Online, we're popping on the Instagram and the Facebook. You get links directly to our website. So if you follow us on the Facebook, you'll actually get updates of all the new things that we're adding to the website. So very cool. Feel free to request things. Like if there's certain things you're looking for on our website, whether it be Warhammer, more graphic novels you want to see. Do you want to see a curated Batman section from Andre of his top 10? We should actually get that up there. But yeah, follow us there. Heroes World Online, that'll bring you, everything's all tied together. So please follow us on that. If you are listening on the audio, Stitcher, Spotify, Deezer, iTunes, everything, we're available on every major podcast platform. So if you don't have time to watch these videos every week, you can definitely listen to us on the audio. Hopefully the smooth sounds of Andre's voice will soothe you as you drive into work, if you're stuck driving in or not. And that's Heroes World Podcast. If you're on the iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating if you like our content, and give us a quick review. That'd be awesome. And Andre, kick it off to where were you in the physical realm?
Yes, we are now open in the desert of the real. We are conveniently located at 8601 Warden Avenue. And that's just in Markham, Ontario. So if you're coming from the GTA, we're just past Steeles, or you can take the highway, take the 404, cut across Highway 7. Lots of ample parking, lots of other amenities in the plaza. So you could, get lunch, get groceries. There's the shoppers. But
cookies,
most of all,
Felix and Norton.
Felix and Norton
I think it's the last location.
It's the last brick and mortar.
Gourmet cookies, yeah. And coming soon, cocoa bubble tea. So we'll see when they open up.
So, but the main reason you're coming to this plaza is hopefully to see us. We are back open. You can do browsing. We do have a limitation in the store, but that limitation is going to be raising when we hit stage 2. But John and myself have done an amazing job, if I can pat us on the back, of bringing lots of stock in. John's pitched the website. Please be aware, though, the website is literally a fraction of what we have in store. There's so much more. We are adding these things to the website, but in the meantime, you got to come to the store to see all this stuff. We just got a huge restock of trade paperbacks. We just got an amazing restock of action figures. So if you're into a lot of the DC multiverse, our McFarlane section is just I want to say off the wall, but it is a whole wall. So lots of amazing things, from board games to card games, comic books to role-playing games, miniature games, kids books, and even kids D&D stuff. So I think we might have something for everybody. So come on out, see us. If you can't come out, reach out to us on the social media or through our website, anywhere. We'll answer those questions. And hopefully, if we don't have exactly what you want or need, if we can't find it for you, we'll make a recommendation that hopefully gets you happy and enjoying one of the many hobbies that we offer.
Awesome. The answer, John, is Charlie. So be it what.
Darlene Hubble, Paul Hubble's.
The wife. Yeah, the wife character. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Rob, I'm not going to talk about sidekicks because it's I don't know when this is coming down. Talk to us about your own channel and where they can find you on social media.
You can find me on Instagram at _905, all spelled out. Same on YouTube. I've been taking a couple weeks off. Me, like many other parents in Ontario, are probably going a little bit crazy as the kids are winding down.
Tell us about a past
Fine.
video.
You
that
have
recommend.
great content for people to go back
and
and
a couple of weeks
Tell
off.
me the back issues. What should we watch?
Well, you know what? I'm actually going to be doing a review coming up on the Superman. It's in the shelf right here, the red one right next to the Invincible Superman Omnibus, the Patrick Gleason omnibus that came out. But before you read that, I recommended the Dan Jurgens Superman, Lois and Clark trade paperback, which is also kind of taken from the Superman and Lois TV show, which, by the way, is amazing. So we discussed that. We discussed the do a stats review of a Jim Aparo. Batman statue, the black and white, and some other comic recommendation. And if you are an omnibus, you want to get into the omnibus collection, and you can pick some up from Heroes World. They have a wide variety of some X-Men. I think they have the Moon Knight and whatnot. I'm going to tell you
some
exactly.
Grant Morrison Batman ones.
So I'm going to show you what to do, because you can't just open it up and start reading it. You actually got to take care of these things. Are a bit expensive, and you want to make sure you keep them in its longevity. So I give some description on how to essentially read and work it in. You got to break and stretch that spine. So yeah, definitely you can follow me there. New videos will be coming soon. I got to get out of this. I got to get out of the school year. It's killing me. So
yeah. Well, thank you, Rob. Thank you all for joining us. Again, like, subscribe, comment. Let us know your favorite Batman trade or omnibus that Andre and John should stock. Let us know your thoughts. Share. And again, as always, please, any small purchase, big or small, whatever it is helpful for small business owners. So whether it's here in Markham or far away in the world, please support your local stores. They appreciate it.
I will just chime in. The name of that graphic novel that was Scott Snyder on the Batman, the second one, was Gates of Gotham. Very, very good read. So yeah, definitely want to come by and check that one out.
So this is the end of our first review of Batman Long Halloween Part 1. We'll see who survives and does Part 2. So have a good one, everyone. Peace out. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye, everyone. Thanks. Bye.
The meeting has stopped recording.